Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome to Friday Chat with Abby. Very nice to see you all out there in Facebook land and YouTube. Hello, my name is Abby Tyler. I am a practicing nurse, family nurse practitioner, community health volunteer, and a content creator. I am here today to talk about, as you can see there, I'm going to change my banner in a second. So let me go back there. Okay, so my topic was I put there in the preview. He told me I had a picture I posted. It made me look fat, and here's my response. So I'm sure everybody's thinking like, oh, okay, this is gonna be exciting and all that too. But anyways, so let me just put my glasses on. Alrighty. So, uh, of course, my disclaimer: whatever I say here is not to take the place of you seeing your family doctor or provider. Okay, do not change your family regimen. This is usually my regular chat, but it's also I'm also giving medical advice. So at the same time, I always make my disclaimer. So how are you today? The weather is about 80ish in my neck of the woods. It's supposed to rain this weekend, but it's nice. It's summertime. It's not summertime, not quite summer yet. I think summer's next week, and then Father's Day is next week also. So without further ado, let me get into it. Okay, again, he told me the picture that I posted look bad. So this is the problem. This is let me just go in here and this. I posted this picture. I'm just gonna put this on last week. I think it was last week or the week before that. Okay. Nice picture, I thought. And I got a lot of nice reviews for that, you know. So, but anyways, a really good friend of mine, I'm not going to make it a topic of this conversation because we already had just our discussion and all that. So I said, you're working in certain fields, and I don't want to give too much of his background because then people know who he is. But we're really good friends. We're really good friends, and I'm sure he didn't mean it the way it came out, or but it doesn't matter because it's all about perception, about how the person feels. So I said, do better because you put a picture up and you just thought he said, well, he said, I didn't mean it that way. I just meant it. And you know what I told him? I said, oh, I actually, when he said that, I said, that's because I am fat. I just said, that's because I am fat. And I'm not going to be one of these women who will sit there and try to pretend or try to all that. But I just want to start by saying in the past couple of years, okay, first I was doing and I worked as a cardiac nurse on the heaviest floor in the hospital. It has been so crazy busy. I did my associates and all that. I was working, had to do my bachelor's. And in the past couple of years, I was also going for my master's degree. Then COVID hit. Okay, we were working in the COVID floor, or the whole hospital became a COVID floor. There were days and days and days where we were just trying not to die, basically trying not to die. Okay, there were people, their patients were dying back and forth. There were times when people they were calling us and saying, "Can you please get that body to the morgue as quickly as possible?" Because we had so many people down here. There were times we had trucks in the front yard. Okay, because there was so many people that still needed to the bodies that still needed it couldn't get it to the morgue fast enough, and they had to keep it in front of it. So that's the kind of pressure we were working under, and compound that with going to school for your master's degree. Okay, and it's like most people think, NP school is like, okay, yeah, you're nursing, don't know exactly what NP does. So we spent all that time and it was like we barely even got the chance to eat. So we got all these food delivered to us every day, but we barely ate it. It was like pizza and everything else. So we're just munching, eating real quick, and we're just comfort eating. So yeah, most of us kind of put up a little bit of weight. And then 2020 was just like I always tell my patients, let's just throw 2020 out of the way because nobody could go to the gym. Some of us who were going to the gym prior to that because of school anyways, and nobody could go to the gym. It was too sad. Nobody wanted to come outside because you couldn't come outside to see your friends. You couldn't walk together. You had to stay away from people who don't live in your home. All of that, everything else, the grieving, the pain, the depression, the anxiety, the PTSD that we all had to go through. Okay, so some of us put a little bit of weight. I'm not gonna say I've made fun of it when I was in my page, and I say, oh, certain clothes you buy, it has like no, none of my clothes can fit me. I used to love ice cream. Ice cream was, it was like I came over, I was eating ice cream until we started buying this little ice cream. So, and it was my comfort food because it was like, okay, there were many days that I sat in my car crying because of the stress that was at work. the CNAs couldn't go in the room. The first couple of weeks, the CNAs couldn't go in the room, or they could spend a little time in the room. So we had to take the patient's food. We had to bathe the patient. We had to do, if they could go in the room, everybody had to spend very little time in the room, because the more you were in there with your mask on and the shield on and everything else, it was so hard to breathe. Okay. And then you try not to breathe or everything, try not to go through all that. So we put them a little bit of weight. All right. So, and then we're working, and the time is going by now. So we're all working, trying to get back to where we're. And there's some people who be naturally had. What I do advise you guys to do is to go on watch Friday Red Table Talk with Queen Latifah. I think it just aired with a Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith. I don't care what you think about her. I'm talking about the show Queen Latifah. Luckily, it aired when I was trying to get this program together, and I did tell this person that I was going to talk about this. He thought I was going to talk about him. I said, no, I'm too professional to talk about you, and it's not that, no. So, like I said, we are good friends. So, so now we're all trying to work our way back. But the point is here, the reasons why women, gain weight. Okay, there are many reasons why women gain weight, and we gain weight, we lose weight all through our lifetime. From some people, their parents don't teach them healthy eating when the time they were little. Okay, so they grow up a little bit chubby. All right. And then also when you go into puberty, your body puts on a little bit of weight. Not everybody, but most of the time the body puts on a little bit of weight, because the brain understands that, okay, you go into puberty, so you have to put on a little bit of weight because your body's preparing for childbirth. Not saying that you're supposed to be getting pregnant around that time. It's just the primal part of your body that you're getting ready for childbirth. So you want to put on some weight. As you get older, and if you have any kind of menstrual irregularities, you may be put on birth control, or even if not, if you want to delay your childbirth and bearing years, and you put on birth control or other methods to not get pregnant. Okay, that also puts some weight on. You're talking about going into life and getting comfortable. Children go away to college. The time where they spend the first couple of years, what they call the freshman 15, you put at least 15 to 30 pounds because you're busy studying and you're not eating healthy and not moving around as much as you were when you were in high school. So, and your hormonal changes. There's so many reasons: the depression, anxiety, so many things that go on in a woman's life that made them gain weight. Let me see. Yeah, there's some other, like I said, some other issues like PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, where it's like you going through that, and that also makes you gain weight because your hormones are like all out of the place there, and you have menstrual irregularities. All of that make you gain weight. There's some women who smoke and don't even want to lose, they don't want to stop smoking because they know they're going to gain weight. Okay, we live in a society. Let me finish up that part. So the reasons I would do that: contraception. I talk about then you going through a change of life. Some people start going through changes in their 40s, and some people they go through all, and some people go through long until like 50, 55 and all. Okay, you go in perimenopausal, premenopausal, perimenopausal, menopausal, everything else that go along with that. When your body, your hormones, this is not something that you're doing to make yourself gain weight. Okay, this is just how nature created women. Okay, we weren't created to be skinny, 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 skinny. And as you guys know, for as long as I've had this forum, since 2014, I have never sat there and say, "Oh, you're fat," and then talk about being skinny and being fat and all that. I've always talked about keeping a healthy weight, because just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy, and just because you're fat doesn't mean you're healthy. Okay, and I always talk about loving yourself and taking care of yourself and doing all the things that you have to do to keep yourself healthy. Okay, so but we live in a social media world that says you have to look like this. When we're talking about memory pictures, and people will see somebody who is clearly doesn't look like they're in high school and say, "Oh, you don't look a day over 18." Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And when people tell me sometimes when I post my picture, "Oh, you look like you're in high school," and I say, "No, I don't. I didn't look like this in high school. Did I look this age? I may look good, which is really subjective. But I don't look like what I did was in high school, because I can show you my high school picture. I mean, I don't think they're trying to gaslight you, but they're just saying that. But sometimes, and women are under so much pressure. You're 50 years old, you're supposed to look like you're 35. You're 35 years old, you're supposed to look like you're 15. Meanwhile, men are allowed to age, gray hair, bald headed, whatever, belly, everything, all those things that go along with being, regular growing and aging. Okay. But women are not allowed to do that. Meanwhile, we're mothers, we're sisters, we're daughters, we're workers, we're changing the world, we're presidents, we're Supreme Court justices, we're vice presidents, we're doing all these things, president of major universities, and doing about everything comes back to our weight. When you watch TV and you're watching the news, look at the newscasters nowadays. The men are still in a three-piece suit and dressed nicely, or a suit. The women, they have to have bodycon dresses, or else, because after all, they have to be able to stand up and look good on camera, or stand up and look good at the weather thing, or stand up because after all, you have to look good for people to realize that, the weather's going to be bad today, or they were killing somewhere, and you can take that in if your female anchor doesn't look like she's 25 years old. Now, I have nothing against youth. I have nothing against youth. Okay. But it's like we live in a world where it's gotten to a point where you have to look a certain way for people to understand you, for people to say, okay, now this person knew me when maybe I was a little less where I am right now, but this is where I am. I'm working hard to do my best. So, women out there, don't let social media fool you. Don't let these people look at you and say and think that. And because I always say, you ask one person, ask everybody who went through, anybody who had self-doubt or self-image issue and all that, or eating disorders and all. Ask them the one thing that somebody said to them when maybe they were very young, and there's something where that person who said it must have thought that it was so inconsequential, but it turned out to be something that led them down a really deadly path. Okay, of eating disorders and doing everything and doing so many unsafe practices, unsafe lifestyle, because they had to soothe that part of them that was hurt so badly. Now, he didn't hurt me. I just said, because I said, you don't know what I'm going through in my life, but you could have said that to somebody who was facing some kind of grief. What if she's on steroids for some autoimmune disease, or for any kind of disease? Like, people take steroids for asthma or different other things. Okay. You don't know what's going on in my life, and you say that in my inbox. Okay. And then later on you find out that, oh my God, I can't believe I said that to her. And this person has a wife, and you have a young daughter too. Are you saying this to your wife and daughter? I'm assuming that. If you send that to your wife, hopefully she's old enough not to, you're not saying that way. And also, you hope you're not saying that to your young daughter who's about 20 years old. And, that's still a formative part of life. She's going through like that major transitional change where she's supposed to be, like accepting herself and knowing the person she is and all. But so, women, don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. And it's easy to say, and this is something that you have to get to a point where it's a lifelong thing. For some people, it's a lifelong thing, and we end up passing it on to our daughters and to our sons, because we say these things to our daughters and our sons here, and they think, "Oh, I'm not going to marry a woman who's fat. I'm not going to marry a woman who looks like that on camera. Maybe she looks different on pictures. Maybe she looks, but the picture doesn't make her look good. So swipe left, swipe right." And it's like, and I'm not saying, okay, yeah, I'm looking for a man or something like that, because hello, I can get a man if I want to already have a man, but I can get a man. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, okay. It's just my play for side. Sorry. I'm just a point. I'm older now, so I can sit there and laugh about it. Maybe when I was younger, that would have hurt me. And there were times where I didn't want to be fat. I wasn't, and growing up, I was never fat. I wasn't fat. I was curvy, and I didn't want to be curvy. That was my thing. I didn't want to be curvy. I came to America. I had a really formative time in my life, and I wanted to be tall, and I wanted to be skinny with no curves whatsoever. It took me a long time to get used to my curves. And even now, sometimes I'm like, I wish I wasn't as curvy, because I'm like, oh, maybe if I'm too curvy, would people take me seriously? Would they just see just the curvy side of me, and then I see that I have brains and knowledge and all? But we're all who we are. God made us the way we are. God or higher power made us the way we are. Okay, so some of the solutions I can say. So, young girls, young women out there, loving yourself. Make sure you live into your healthiest best. My most important thing is, know your numbers. Watch your blood pressure. Okay. Make sure your blood pressure is like ideal blood pressure. Ideal now it's like 120 to 120 over 70 to 80. Make sure you keep close to that, because the high blood pressure also lead to other issues with your kidneys and stroke, and put your high risk of heart attack and all that. Know your blood pressure, know your BMI, how tall you are, and your weight and height and all that, how it correspond. I have put up the scale many times. I'm not married to the BMI, because the BMI was formed from somebody in 19th century male way back. So that's got some other issues with that too. So I'm not married to that, but just try to stay as healthy as possible. Stay close to that as much as possible. Eat, low fat, low salt food, drink a lot of fluids, stay active, exercise, or do really brisk exercise for 30 minutes a day, at least 3 times a week. Okay. Stay away. If you smoke, try to quit smoking. 1-800-QUIT NOW. You can also talk to your doctor about different methods, options to help you stop quitting. If you drink heavily, stop drinking, cut back, and because you don't want to mess up with your liver. There are other things that also affect the liver, but that's one of the things that you can help on your own. Try cutting back on your liver. Watch your stress level. I know it's hard. There's so many things as mothers that we have to put up with and all. I know it's hard, but watch your stress level, because that also takes, all that stress hardening arteries, and sometimes too much stress too can also lead to your body's inflammatory process going haywire, and can also lead to some cancers as well. So watch your stress level. Let me see here. Know your A1C. I talk about type 2 diabetes all the time. The ideal, you want to be 5.6 and below, 4.8 to 5.6 and below. If you're already a diabetic, you want to keep lower than 7. And if you're on insulin already, you want to stay lower than 9, because you don't want it to go higher. So those are the things, the medical part that I can talk about. All right. Hang around with people, hang around with women or other men or whoever that uplift you. Okay, that somebody, not somebody would just lie to you and say, but you know that you're doing something unhealthy, that you're not going to say anything, but they would, tell you, yeah, you might want to put that bottle down, or let's do something, let's go for a walk, let's do something, let's talk, and let's talk to somebody who really understands you and loves you, and you sit there and laugh about crazy things and talk about it all the time. All right. Don't sit there and stress over what somebody thinks you're this, you're that. Of course, it's hard. You're not, even people who are Oprah Winfrey, who's like this big, powerful person, and other people too who are big, powerful. They always talk about the fact that they were there. So people always talk about their weight. And she went through all this up and down, yo-yo dieting and all back and forth. I remember, for those of you who are my age, a little younger, you remember seeing all the many things that she went through to keep skinny. But don't let that consume you so much. Don't let social media consume you so much. You put your picture up, and I know people would say that. And I seen this man like comment, absolutely beautiful. The famous Facebook cliche thing, absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Yes, girl, yes, whatever. Everybody says that. Even Facebook gives you an option to say that. And women who are like, bigger in size than me, I've seen him say that. So it's like, okay, are they not fat and I'm fat, or whatever it is that you think I am? Whatever, whatever. But just don't let this bother you. And loving yourself, like I said, give yourself some grace. Go to the gym if you have to go to the gym. Exercise again. I already said all that. And then also, if you want to do any kind of plastic surgery, I'm not against cosmetic surgery. I'm not against that. I did a show on cosmetic surgery, a couple of videos down. You can go in there, make sure you do your homework. Make sure you do your homework, because people are doing things and going to people who are not board certified or deciding to go out of the country, and they're not really studying on these different doctors when they go out of the country, and they're there and they're getting hurt. So you can also get hurt over here too. So make sure you're doing your homework before doing that. So I'm not against that. You might say, and some people need to have liposuction. So people need to have, the gastric sleeve or whatever it is, because they're maybe pre-diabetic, or their cholesterol level also doing numbers, your cholesterol level. It may be a little too hard, and they have tried so many ways to get it down, and they're at risk for stroke or heart attack. Their doctor will speak to them, and they go on and they can go ahead and have the surgery. But just remember, if you go into having any kind of bariatric surgery, most doctors will want you to try to lose most of that weight on your own before they can even do that. Because the point is, if you're very heavy, you may have severe complications under anesthesia. So they want to make sure you're starting with the healthy eating process, exercising, losing most of that weight on your own before they can get to a point where they said it's safe for you to have surgery. And of course, you'll be checking with your cardiologist and everything else. Everybody has to clear you before you can go for surgery. So if that's what you want to do, and you want to do that and be healthy and do something else, even if you want to just do it just to make yourself feel good, I have nothing against that. Okay, I have nothing against that. So let me just see here. So like I said, this is not something that's just going to happen overnight. You're not just going to say, oh, I don't care. And I know people say, oh, I don't care what somebody say about me. I know I'm this, I know I'm that, I'm whatever. And inside, deep down inside, they're still, it still bothers them. And of course, it's going to bother you. Like, again, like I say, something that's going to be lifelong. But eat healthy, exercise. Just try to be your healthier self. Be your healthier self. So at least that way, when and you be like, and somebody says something to you, it might just be a comment and be like, okay, that's why, like I said here, I am fat. I'm not going to sit there and say, I know I'm skinny. I've never been skinny, but I've never been, I've never been overweight, and I'm overweight. And I'm fine with that. Like I said, I've never been on this forum and said, oh yeah, people are supposed to be skinny and people are supposed to be this and people are supposed to be that. No, because I know and I've listed so many reasons, but there's so many more reasons why people gain weight. So for those of you out there who want to shame people, or you think you may not be saying it, or you may not be in the way you come across, it may not be the way it was intended, but watch your mouth. Okay? Because what you say may be so consequential to somebody who is going through a lot. Okay, let somebody's like going through a lot and just over the brim, and you say something like that to them. There's some people who have chronic illnesses that they can't exercise. They've had many surgeries. They can't exercise. They can't go and be all happy-go-lucky because they're in constant pain. So you think that you think they're going to be worried about whether they're skinny or not? Of course, I'm sure they think that. They're surely thinking, oh yeah, I would love to be skinny. I would love to go back to where I was and all that too. But I just want to stop being in pain. So, men, women, mothers, when you're saying stuff like that, and I know you mean it with the best of intentions and all, just the way you say it, you know, and sometimes don't say it at all because I may not be my response or their response may not be the same to you. It may come up and I saw people were thinking I was going to come up here and be cussing out and doing that because that's not me. And he thought I was going to talk about him, and I was like, no, I'm too professional for that because I'm not here just representing myself. I'm here representing all those women who have been told that. I'm here representing, I talk about eating disorder and how that can be devastating to a young girl's life and all that, even to an older person. These models will tell you stories and stories about how, you thinking they're just so skinny. And meanwhile, the industry is telling them, you got a little bit of weight here. You got a little bit of weight here. I used to be like, oh my God, I don't want any cellulites. Meanwhile, Tyra Banks was like in her 20s and she said she didn't want them photographing her from behind because she had a little bit of cellulite. Somebody in the 20s, Tyra Banks is like gorgeous. Most of these models didn't have all that. People who want to, so just encourage your child, especially men of daughters and all. Make sure that they stay healthy. Make sure people don't say things to them. They may not come to you and tell you that they said that or somebody said that to them. But just watch them. Watch the food they're eating, and don't talk to them about, okay, yeah, you could put the food down. You don't have to eat everything, or don't force them to eat either. But don't say, okay, yeah, you can eat a little less. And look at this one; she's a little fatter now. Look at this and all that. Okay, because other people are still going, especially people who are in the formative years, and even with people who are going through changes in their life. There's certain times you're just going to gain the weight, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to work as much as stay. And suddenly you get to a point you're losing weight and you just plateaued. So it's like your body's like, this is why I'm stopping. What are you gonna do? Just sit around and be sad all day? No, you're buying new clothes. Like I've been buying new clothes. I'm like, okay, some of the clothes that could fit me last year don't fit me anymore. And I'm like, I have my pity party, and I said, okay, that's it. And that's it. Okay, so don't like this to run long. Okay, so and in conclusion, love on yourself, stay healthy, stay safe. Life is short, life is fleeting, health is not guaranteed. We all see everything else is going on in the world today, all the killing and the shooting and this and everything. It's just overwhelming. So take time to just love on yourself. Accept yourself for who you are. Better yourself by staying healthy, making sure you're taking your medications like you're supposed to, following up with your doctor and everything, getting all your screenings. And women, lift each other up. Men, lift your wives or your girlfriend, your daughter, especially your daughters, Okay. And I will see you guys on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for my regular Tuesday show. So thank you all for watching tonight. Oh my goodness, I forgot to look on here, see what the okay, so like, but just say tell him to eat. Tell him to eat his damn heart. Has he checked his belly yet? I like I said, men are allowed to do anything. They're allowed to grow old and have a good time. We women, we just it doesn't. We have to get check and balance and all. So and let me see. Jackie Jackson said, "Welcome back, Abby Tyler. Thank you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you." So thank you all for watching. Things as always for all your love and support. I will see you guys on Tuesday and at 7 p.m. for my regular Tuesday show. So, like I said, I learned this new thing at Hyatt, Zilara, and Ziva in the Dominican Republic. So this is how I'm going to be ending my conversation. I see your comment there, Jackie. So, alrighty. So, good night. God bless. Please stay safe and accept yourself and love on yourself. Okay? Bye. Thank you.